So Eagles owner Jeff Lurie wants the Birds to reignite a position that feels like it's long gone in the NFL. But could he actually have a point? We'll talk about that. Also, one of the Eagles' later round draft picks is already starting to feel like a steal. Could the Birds have drafted one of the late round hidden gems? And the Eagles just lost a huge piece in the scouting department and on special teams. How will they move forward? We'll talk about all that and more. But welcome in to A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like this video, go down below, and subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate everybody who continues to tap in here with us. But we started off with the breaking news just a little while ago. That is right. The Los Angeles Rams signed Britton Covey to a one-year deal. The Eagles have lost their kick return, punt return specialist. And best of luck to Britton Covey, Super Bowl champion. I'll never forget this guy being an undrafted free agent coming in, having to walk through the parking lot because the security did not recognize him. And he just took that to heart and he humbled himself and he just continued to work, led the NFL in punt return yards in 2023, and he became a damn good special teams player. So shout out to Britton Covey, man. Best of luck with the Rams. And you may be asking yourself, what do the Eagles do now? Well, if you go back to free agency, you'll remember that they had signed a return specialist, Avery Williams, who is 26, led the NFL in punt returns in 2022, and since then he has averaged 22.4 yards per kickoff return and 10.9 yards per punt return. So once they did that, I knew the writing was on the wall, but shout out to Britton Covey. He deserves all the love from Eagle Nation, and he'll forever be a Super Bowl champ. Another guy who will be a Super Bowl champ, and maybe another one this year, is Jordan Davis, who is staying with the Eagles not only this year, but the next year as well, as the Birds have accepted and picked up his fifth-year option. I believe the number was $12.9 million. I think it's a great decision. He is one of the guys who may not always show up on the stat sheet, but he really improved this year, his technique. He got in better shape, just like Jalen Carter, and he was really vital in the playoffs as a run stuffer and even getting to the quarterback a little bit. This guy has continued to improve, may not be worthy of where he was drafted, but he's still a damn good player. Vic Fangio loves him. And if you just listen to him talk, I mean, he's a very well put together young man. And now he's going to be with the Birds for 2 more years, can continue to improve, show what he needs to, and just get better. And now, you know, the Eagles can have a little bit of flexibility, right? Like if he continues to play better, then they can find a way to keep him around long term. But they're not just tied to him, you know, for the next 4 seasons. So I think this is a good decision by the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I want to talk about what Jeff Lurie said on WIP radio today to John Ritchie. He says, quote, "We're going to try to resurrect the fullback position." Sounded very serious about it. Says he believes there's a place for it in today's game. So not only do you have to worry about Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts running the ball, but now maybe instead of the tush push, which might get banned, they're going to have a fullback on the field. Could you actually see the Birds doing this? Other than 1 or 2 teams around the league, it's not really popular. It's not common anymore, but back then it used to be. And I'll tell you, a perfect candidate. Eagles defensive tackle Ty Robinson, who was drafted in the 4th round. We have some things to talk about with him in just a bit. I am very excited about this kid, but he was a fullback for 8 plays at Nebraska, and he scored on 7 out of 8. Could Ty Robinson be the fullback for the Philadelphia Eagles? Could you imagine this guy going in, stuffing the gaps and stopping the running backs, and then he comes back on the other side of the field the next couple of plays, and he give him the ball at the 1-yard line. He finds his way into the end zone. Could you imagine, man? Ty Robinson could be special for this team. We'll talk about him in just a sec, but I want to give a shout out to Jeff Lurie, shouting out Brandon Graham. He says, when the team drafted BG, everybody wanted them to take a safety. I'm glad they did not. He also says that BG has, quote, always been a person who epitomizes what we want to be in an Eagles player. And I think that's a big part of the pre-draft process for the Eagles and even all teams, maybe more than it used to be, like seeing what kind of person these guys are. How do they handle themselves on social media? You know, what do they do for the community? Howie Roseman said before this draft, we're not going after anybody with allegations or issues or anything that's going to pop up. We don't want to deal with that. We want more Brandon Grahams. He'll be around the team still, the locker room. He'll be on the radio. He will be forever beloved in this city, and it's because of the type of person he is and also the type of work he puts in on the field, which, by the way, Jeff Lurie said about BG coming back to play in the Super Bowl, quote, watching him work, nobody projected he would be able to play in that game. He came back from a torn tricep quicker than anybody. The fact he was able to do that shows exactly what type of work ethic he has. And like I said, he'll be forever loved. Shout out to Brandon Graham. Now, another guy on the defensive line who maybe could be forever loved in this city, we don't know, he's just getting his feet wet, is Ty Robinson, who we just talked about. Could he play fullback? Maybe. But he's going to be a beast. And I'm telling you right now, I'm starting to think he could be the steal of this Eagles draft class. He could actually start on day one. The Eagles lose Milton Williams in free agency, right? He goes and gets the third highest guaranteed money, and it just feels like a very Howie-esque pick. Trades back into the fourth round, right, from the third, and Ty Robinson's sitting there, and he goes and takes him. And I watched a couple of his game tapes, and I'm like, holy smokes, this guy is a beast. 42 pressures, 12 and a half tackle for losses, and 7 sacks, a team lead last year. And they're calling this guy the Vanilla Gorilla. First off, that is an amazing nickname. But second off, he is a mammoth. Now, I want to talk about what Dave Zangaro said over in Eagles rookie minicamp. They just had it a few days ago. You don't usually get much, but a couple quick notes from that. All right. Jihaad Campbell was on the field wearing his jersey, did not have a helmet, and was not participating in practice. He is recovering from shoulder surgery in March. Eagles have not put a timeline on him. Also, one other quick note, he says that Jihaad Campbell went with the off-ball linebackers after the Eagles drafted him. They talked up his pass rush ability off of the edge, but it appears like they're going to start him off in the linebacker room. So does that kind of give a hint about Nakobe Dean? Will Jihaad Campbell be ready? I don't know. I think they took him with the mindset that, hey, this is a top 10, top 15 talent. When he's ready, he will play. We have enough depth to cover him. So we don't really know about the timeline yet of Jihaad Campbell. But in terms of Ty Robinson, here is what Dave Zangaro had to say about him. I noticed on Friday how broad rookie defensive tackle Ty Robinson's shoulders are. It explains how he was in the 15th percentile for arm length, but 68th in wingspan. Broad shoulders reminded me a bit of Fletcher Cox, although his arms were significantly longer. One more, Smail Monda Jr. is jacked and is probably going to be a special teams ace. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ty Robinson ran the quickest 40 out of all defensive tackles. He is huge. His arms are a little bit short, and he's got to get in a little bit of better shape. But when you watch this guy, I mean, I don't even think I noticed how huge he is. And ladies and gentlemen, Ty Robinson said that Matt Rule, his college coach, told him, quote, "You went to the best organization in the NFL." He says, "I'll take that any day of the week." And look at this guy. Holy crap. This guy, if this guy was running around in my dreams, I would be scared. I'd be terrified. If this guy was coming at me trying to take away the football and trying to crush me, I would be terrified. The Vanilla Gorilla, they're calling him. Eagles' newest defensive tackle, Ty Robinson, on how he thinks he'll fit into the culture. How crazy and dedicated the fans are. I'm definitely really excited to embrace that part of the culture here in Philadelphia. Look at this guy, the Vanilla Gorilla. He is going to start on day one. Mark my words. They lose Milton Williams. This guy is the perfect replacement. And speaking of which, I actually got a little bit curious. So I went back to their draft profiles, right? And I was like, okay, well, what makes Ty Robinson different from Milton Williams when they were coming out? And you'll be interested to hear what I found, okay? Here's Ty Robinson and his draft profile. 6'5", 288 pounds. Milton Williams, 6'3", 284 pounds, so very similar. Ty Robinson's arms, 32 1/4 inch. Hand, 10 inches. Back to Milton Williams, 31 1/2 arms, 9 3/4 hand. So Ty Robinson has better attributes there, right? And when we go down a little bit and we look at the athleticism score, that's really the only difference that lies here. Milton Williams graded out very well, whereas Ty Robinson ran the quickest 40 for all defensive tackles, and he graded out decently well. So when they looked at Ty Robinson, they projected him to be a 5th-round pick. Milton was projected to be a 2nd or 3rd-round pick, but really the only difference is that Milton graded out better in the athleticism score. But the traits are there for Ty Robinson, and if he can just get into a little bit of better shape, and even though the arms might be a problem, I mean, they're not a problem for Milton, right? And Milton took a few years, but he blossomed. You saw the skill set there. If they can get that early on from Ty Robinson, and it already feels like he's meshing well into the Philly culture, and he wants that opportunity, I mean, I just think he has a really good chance to play and play early. And I remember they were talking to one of his college coaches, and they said sometimes they had to tell this guy to, pipe it down a little bit because he was getting too crazy at practice. Like, he is that furious, that ferocious. This guy is very, very exciting. Here's a couple quick clips from Eagles rookie minicamp. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this guy. He is a beast. The vanilla gorilla. Here he is again. Look at this guy, man. Holy smokes. He is huge. Guys, I'm excited about Ty Robinson. Do you think he could actually start on day one at the Eagles defensive tackle position? Obviously, Moro Ajomo, right? You have Jalen Carter. You have Jordan Davis. I think Ty Robinson can get snaps from day one. I just think he can, and maybe he'll be a backup and, he'll be limited in the first half of the season, but whatever it is, the Eagles have a really good way of developing these guys and getting them where they need to be, so I'm excited. Lastly, the Eagles lose a scouting coordinator. Anthony Patch has joined the Las Vegas Raiders as a senior personnel executive. Patch had been with the Eagles for 23 seasons, worked his way up from a college scouting coordinator to the team's senior director of college scouting. So that could be a huge loss for the Birds. I'm not sure who is going to replace him. But when you're with someone for 23 years, you know what the heck you're doing. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Who could be the steal of the Eagles draft? Do you think Ty Robinson could play both defensive tackle and fullback? Maybe they bring Ben Van Sumeren back and let him do it. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.